down if they need to. Iwata can should be thrown out as well. My computer's not
He's
waiting.
still around, by the
Dragon's
way.
in the game. He's still here. He's got all the reads. And there's another one pulled in, and it's going to get Europe as well. Instantly shot down. That Aria not doing a huge amount there, but it's going to be obliterated in the process. And
Looks like the Ravens trying to Hunter-Seeker actually pointed out the point defense drones. Battle cruisers are throwing down the amount of cannons, but here come the Vipers.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello from the MLG studios here in New York City, and welcome back to Heart of the Swarm Exhibitions. My name is axeltoss. I am joined by Axlive, and today is Thursday. Every single day of the week at 5 p.m. Eastern, we have something going on here related to Heart of the Swarm. Yesterday, we had some free-for-all fun stuff, a lot of community involvement there. Again, you had the option to join channel MLG to be able to participate. I think a lot of people enjoyed themselves. And of course, on Tuesday, we had some arcade game spotlight that turned into a little bit of Wings of Liberty fun stuff because Heart of the Swarm went down while it was occurring at 6 p.m. And then, of course, Mondays and Fridays, we have Kings of the Hill. Currently, Cats is lined up to play tomorrow. He's going to play against Dragon and try to extend his streak. And Total Biscuit is going to be here, well, not here literally, but he's going to be casting over Skype with my friend Axlive because I have to leave to go to Texas. But today is what's going on. We got Heart of the Swarm show match between two of the top Heart of the Swarm players in their respective races, and they're both Korean, Supernova and Seed.
This would be an amazing match in Wings of Liberty.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually more amazing in Heart of the Swarm because, as you mentioned, these are the two best of their respective races in Heart of the Swarm. I mean, I think most people would say if it was Wings of Liberty, Seed would probably have the slight upper hand here.
Right.
I mean, Seed's just a little bit more well-known in Wings of Liberty, but Heart of the Swarm is a whole new ball game. And Supernova, he had a lot of really cool kind of two-base TVP pushes he used to do in Wings of Liberty with, like, Siege Tanks, Hellions, and Marines. And I'm really curious to how he's going to add in Widow Mines, Battle Hellions to these devastating tank pushes.
Yeah.
Oh, and he doesn't have to research Siege mode anymore. The Raven Seeker Missile is now useful in the game. So,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of cool things you can see. I'm really excited for this.
Yeah, it should be very interesting. I mean, these are two of the top Koreans that have been playing a lot of Heart of the Swarm, and you gotta wonder what strategies they have under their belt. Supernova right now, he's #1 on the Heart of the Swarm Grandmaster. Seed is around 17, but he's one of the top Protosses on the Grandmaster ladder. This is gonna be live right now. The players are in the lobby. I'm gonna ask if they are ready, and if you're watching this on VOD, that's awesome. You can find VODs at youtube.com/official MLGSC2. Right now, MLG has a League channel that we just started up, SC2 channel, and Call of Duty channel as well. So if you're interested in any of those games, feel free to visit the respective YouTube channels. But StarCraft 2 is a little bit lacking right now behind Call of Duty. There's a little bit of a competition going on, so please support StarCraft 2 and MLG by subscribing to youtube.com/official MLGSC2. All the VODs will be there. And now I'm asking the players if they are ready. Supernova is currently ready, but we got a PVT best of 7. The map pool is going to be the Blizzard ladder map pool in Heart of the Swarm. The starting map will be Cloud Kingdom. The winner, or actually the loser, I should say, will pick the map, and the winner of the entire show match goes home with $100. Last week, on Thursday, we had Dragon versus White Raw. That was a best of 7. That was amazing. A lot of awesome strategies, lots of Oracle play from White Raw. White Raw, oh, I don't know if I want to spoil it, but you can check out the, I might have already spoiled it. You can check out the VODs of that, of course, at youtube.com/official MLGSC2. But that was a pretty good show match between those two guys.
It was a great match.
Yeah.
I've been a fan of White Raw for about 12 years now, so I had to be cheering for him in that match. But Dragon always makes matches insanely interesting. I mean, this guy, he has such a variety of builds up his sleeve, and he's not afraid to mix it up at all. So it's not like you're seeing, oh, this is a really cool build, and then the rest of the series, oh, it's that same build that was cool, and now I'm seeing it again and again and again.
Right.
Which, I mean, there is something to be said about perfecting a single build, but Dragon, especially for Heart of the Swarm, I mean, he'll mix it up. He'll do crazy Widow Mine rushes. He'll play like a standard macro game without using a single Heart of the Swarm unit.
Yeah.
And then everything is up in this guy's sleeve.
So this is another PVT, and I have a question to ask you after I introduce these players. Of course, in the bottom left-hand location, we have the Red Protoss player Seed. Again, one of the top Heart of the Swarm Grandmaster players, of course, from Korea. His opponent in the top right-hand location, arguably the best Terran in Heart of the Swarm at the moment, currently has the #1 spot in the Grandmaster ladder. he is Supernova. And the question I wanted to ask is, last week we had a PBT, this week we have a PBT, but the differences are we got two pretty studious Koreans on our hand. They play all the time. How much do you expect the strategies to change comparing all 4 players, comparing the 2 different show matches?
Oh, I think it's going to be a whole new ballgame. I mean, I mentioned I'm a big fan of White Raw and Dragon, but these guys play at a different level, I think it's fair to say. I mean, White Raw and Dragon are some of the better players outside these top Korean tournaments, but these guys, these are the best players inside those top Korean tournaments. So I think just the level of detail to the builds is going to be much higher. And of course, the execution is going to be there. And that's something that it's always hard to tell, because you'll see someone go for a strategy, and sometimes it's like, well, it looked really cool, but it didn't do anything. Like, go for like an Oracle harass. Like, there's a couple times White Raw went for an Oracle, and his first Oracle just died to Marines. You're like, well, how good is the Oracle opening? I can't tell, because, you know, is it too easily countered by Marines, or is it because maybe the Oracle wasn't controlled to perfection? But with Seed and Supernova, I mean, the odds of seeing those type of mistakes go down, and you're more likely to see really what works and what doesn't.
Yeah, I'm honestly, I might be a little bit selfish here in saying this. I'm like really looking forward to seeing how these guys open up with their build orders, because this is essentially a different game. It is an expansion to Wings of Liberty, and a lot of people are like, okay, Heart of the Swarm, okay, it's coming out soon, I gotta be ready. I want to take down noobs on the ladder, I want to beat all my friends. How am I going to do that? Well, you're in luck, because you're watching this right now. We're going to see what the best guys in the world right now in Heart of the Swarm are doing precisely to a T. Right now we see Seed getting that first gas out on the Cyberport, and then getting that second gas. Fairly standard play thus far. The second gas is a little bit intriguing. You don't see that too much in Wings of Liberty, unless you're teching really fast.
Even in standard Wings of Liberty, he's getting this much faster than a normal second gas, because he's saving minerals by not chrono boosting probes. And so this means I mean, of course he has less economy because he's been neglecting that, but it means he's able to get this gas faster. I think he's definitely going to invest in some really fast tech of some kind. Or else, you know, why is he not using this chrono boost? Maybe it's for some very fast aggression?
Yeah, I mean, chrono boosting out that warp gate as we speak would definitely imply that faster warp gate on the field, faster ability you have to be aggressive with units. Now, he could just be taking these 2 gases to throw Supernova off. Supernova is going to scout this. He's like, okay, you have 6 guys in gas. What are you actually going to be throwing at me at this point in time? You're probably teching really fast. Now, Seed has the ability to just pull probes out of gas once that SCV leaves. We'll have to see if he does that. Currently, getting a mothership out on mothership. Oh, he canceled his mothership core.
It was a fake?
Because there's definitely a different animation on that Nexus.
He
while the
for
mothership
sure
core is
made the core. And then afterwards scouted, he canceled it and made a sentry. Now he's expanding. So I think he was pretending to do like a Stalker mothership core rush. Right? And that's why he's going to gas. We can afford the mothership core and the Stalkers. And he's like, okay, he scouted that. He'll be ready for it. So now I'm going to change my build and just go for a regular fast expansion build, but slightly later and with more gas than normal. So that's going to give him a chance to play around with his tech a little more. He can get plenty of sentries and get a tech route, whether it's Stargate or Robo, or just that remaking that mothership core.
So in theory, Supernova might have to be very cautious right now. Of course, what he thinks is, all right, my opponent, he's making a mothership core, he's chrono boosting his cybernetics core, he's chrono boosting his gateway, he's sending some aggression at me, so that means Supernova is more likely to be a little bit passive. But as we're seeing here, Supernova has had his build set from the beginning, going straight to cloaked Banshees, has that starport on the ground, the tech lab added onto it, cloak well underway. And keep in mind, he has the ability to add on the tech lab at any moment to that factory, or simply switch it over to this tech lab once he feels like it, to mix in a lot of tanks. Of course, as you said before, Ravens have plenty of utility in Heart of the Swarm, so look out for Supernova to make some of those. But obviously he's intending to stay on one base for quite a while, even throwing down a bunker at the front of his natural expansion, just in case Seed decides to scout across the field and kind of try to throw him off. He sees that bunker, oh, he has an expansion. Well, Supernova does not have an expansion.
And one thing to note is that right now Seed has no idea what build Supernova did. Supernova did prevent the probe from scouting early by building that depot. So Seed doesn't even know if Supernova has built a single gas yet. He could have gone, you know, 1 Rax gasless expansion for all Seed knows.
Yep.
Right? He just knows nothing but the fact he got a barracks. So he's totally in the dark here, which is why he's getting these early observers. And those are actually going to help him out a lot against Cook, because of course
Absolutely.
it's pretty useful to see a Banshee when it's shooting at you.
Also, remember, the Mothership Core is no longer has Envision, so you're going to need some form of detection early on in the game, and perhaps Supernova was counting on his opponent not going for that earlier detection because he saw the Mothership Core being chrono boosted out, which means the robotics facility, in theory, might be a little bit later. But Seed, on top of it, has that Observer at his natural expansion. Supernova may or may not have figured that it was a fake or whatever, but as it stands, trying to get some damage done with this Cloaked Banshee. Has 5 kills to his name already. Workers killed count is 5-1 in favor of Seed, but keep in mind, Seed got his natural expansion much faster than his opponent, so that's not going to have too lasting of an impact on this game, but Supernova does have another Banshee swinging down to the main mineral line of Seed, so I'll have to see how much more damage he can get done with these Cloaked Banshees.
Looking at Supernova's face, man, he must have something special in store for us. The Raven is already almost out. The armor, he's been finished.
Gosh.
Does this mean he's going mech, or maybe just getting Battle Hellions out early? It's hard to tell at this point. I kind of hope to see mech play, because I haven't seen mech play in TVP for quite a while now.
Of course, tanks do not require an upgrade to use Siege mode, so meching can be, played with a little bit more without too much penalty. We have a Thor on the field here from Supernova, so we'll have to see where he goes from here. Immediately getting both of his gases at his natural expansion, wanting to invest a lot into gas-heavy units, I guess in the form of Banshees, potentially Ravens, and of course Thors. So we'll have to keep an eye on Supernova's build as he goes along. It's pretty interesting so far. I mean, he could honestly, theoretically, be preparing for a third eventually. He can go, any direction he wants at this point, and there we go. The second factory now in the field, so definitely going to be seeing mech from Supernova.
Look how careful he was to send that Raven and Marine Patrol all around, make sure there's no observer that could tell what he was doing before he put down that second factory. He wants to be absolutely sure that Seed's in the dark, and this is something that's very, very important for Terran players. Your biggest strength is the fact you can deny total scouting, especially if you get that Raven, so you got to use that to keep the Protoss player in the dark for as long as possible.
Now, Seed was able to get an observer in his opponent's main base, did not see the second factory. Did see, however, the starport and the factory, both with tech labs on them, so that could be a little bit telling in the tech path Supernova was intending to go as far as mech-heavy play. And we just saw a Banshee taken out there, didn't we?
No, that was a Seeker missile taking out a couple probes there, I believe, or taking out something. Or maybe it did. Maybe just connected with, because the Raven doesn't have any kills.
0 kills on the Raven.
But I could have sworn I saw him launch it. Maybe it was a Banshee that was killed. What did he use? I mean, if he launches a Seeker missile, maybe the unit dodged out the way.
Unit's loss is 5-2.
Yeah,
so nothing too crazy. But we have Seed going directly for Storm. That's about 70% of the way done. Working on his Forge upgrades and Charge. And look at where he's keeping his High Templars. I kind of really like this a lot. Hiding them from his opponent, does not want them to be scouted, because if they're not scouted, then all of a sudden you're going to have a pretty significant advantage as far as perhaps your opponent's going to be taken off guard by the feedback ability onto Banshees, by Storm onto unwary Marines, and of course getting the Ghost Academy a little bit later might be a pretty game-changing mistake. And render the High Templars very useful for Seed.
Look at this build that Supernova is going for. A second barracks. Double factory Thor production, but he's building Marines too. I think he's building up for timing. And the Marines aren't going to be as strong as they sometimes are, because they're not going to have combat shield or stim pack. They still will do a lot of damage per second, but the problem is that Seed has Storm. And the whole idea behind this build, I think, is that the Thors basically tank really well, and then the Marines kill everything. But, with Storm Tech, Seed's going to be able to just launch those Storms over the Thors, land them right in the Marines, and without Stim or Medivacs, those Marines are going to be butchered.
And it's going to be very important for Seed to set up, flanks here and there. You don't want to engage this army in a choke point, unless, of course, you're getting those storms off. So we'll have to see how Seed.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, I see what you did there. How he tries to slow this push down, because again, the longer this push takes, the better off Seed is going to be. And there goes the force field. On there, the Medivac going to be overextending, trying to use. It's a gold Ignite Afterburners. Gosh, I keep forgetting. I'm sorry.
Ignite Afterburners.
I need to write that on a notepad and read it about 50 times before I go to bed each night.
If Seed can Solus attack until he gets +2 armor, that's going to be a huge benefit to him, because +2 armor on his Zealots and Guardian Shield means the Marines are going to be doing a single damage every hit, and they're going to be almost useless against his army.
Supernova still doesn't know about the High Templars. Oh, he sees an Archon though. Will that be the tell? Still doesn't see the High Templars. I'm a little bit scared.
Trying to wait for that armor. Okay, the Thors walk right through the force fields. Seed setting up a flank.
All right, here he goes. Guardian Shield going down. Supernova has plenty of SCVs in here. Here come the Storms here from Seed. Not hitting too many Marines, though. They're finally getting some solid connections. Stalkers trying to focus down the Ravens, Banshees, and Thors. And the Storms doing their job against the Marines. But this is going to be a very close battle indeed. Seed's reinforcements that he's warping in right now might prove the difference. 2 Archons being warped in here.
2 more Thors trailing their way up the field, and these Thors are just devastating because Seed doesn't have the larger army to take these guys down anymore.
Seed has 900 minerals. 2 Immortals finally deciding to join the party, retreating to be near that cannon, and I don't think Seed might not have an observer on the field here because, okay, he has 1 observer.
Any observer that was in the battle
There it is.
would have instantly died to those
Exactly.
Thors, so he had to remake a new one. The Banshee's almost out of energy. The big threat is these Thors here.
I think he might be okay. He has those 2 Immortals. That Banshee is incredibly low on health, which would be good against the
SCV
Immortals.
train coming in, but it's going the wrong direction.
Oh no, going straight into the National Expansion, going to try to get a flank. Here come the Immortals leading forward. SCV's definitely going to want to target those. Now Pro's being pulled here from Seed, trying to keep those alive. He's okay losing his 3rd base. He realizes his opponent's only on 2 bases, has a Zealot there to monitor that. So as long as he can keep his probes alive, he should be okay. Immediately turning his High Templars into Archons, so really wants to take Supernova out right now.
He realizes he needs more damage per second if he can take down these Thors, even with the SCVs repairing him. He's trying to focus him down, but these Thors just will not die. The Immortals get focused down so fast here.
Yeah, the Immortals falling incredibly fast. Again, SCVs constantly repairing these Thors, and now there's 5 on Seed's side of the map, and they have that +1 armor upgrade. Seed desperately trying to hold this push off, but I'm not sure he has enough. Still has 1,000 minerals in the bank. This means he does not have enough gateways to defend against these Thors. But that being said, 5 Zealots, are they going to be enough to clean up these Thors?
I don't think so. Oh, another Warpin. With only 2 Thors left, but you know what? There's another bunch of SCVs and Thors crossing the map as we speak. More and more of Seed's units are going down. An Immortal is coming. That could be what he needs because these Thors are critically hurt.
Yeah, if he can target down the Thors right away with those Immortals, but here come 2 SCVs acting as heroes here, going to be repairing these Thors. Again, still 600 minerals in the bank of Seed. He needs to spend that right now. Charging forward with the Zealots, trying to take down these Thors. The Immortal trying to do work as well. The Banshee get targeting down by the Archon. The Banshee goes down. 4 Zealots and an Archon remain. 3 more Zealots being warped in here, trying to track down that Thor, and I think Seed might barely hold this up. And here comes reinforcements from Supernova. This is one of the longest battles I've seen in Heart of the Swarm.
Back and forth it goes for about the last 6-7 minutes. Thor stutter stepping. When's the last time you thought you'd see that?
And against charge lots at that. And the Banshee going to come forward and save this 1 Marine who's feeling extra bold today. Not much anti-air here from Seed. Only has 2 Stalkers, but that might be enough to fend away that Banshee. And Supernova's going to have to regroup. Let's take tabs of things here. Workers killed is 25 to 20. Income tab is 47 to 40 in favor of Seed. Seed going to try to resecure that 3rd base. There's no in-base 3rd command center here from Supernova, but he still has those mules being thrown down at that National Expansion. Still has a decent SCV count considering how many he lost. Seed keeping an eye on his opponent's 3rd base, making sure no 3rd goes down without him knowing about it. Meanwhile, we have a Cloaked Banshee returning to the main mineral line, getting some pro kills.
Oh, this is exactly what Supernova needs to do. He needs to find a way to slow down Seed's army progression, because if we look at Seed's main base, there's a ton of work gates at his disposal, not to mention the robotics consistently pumping out Immortals. This is like 2 to 3 times more production than Supernova has. Supernova is only producing off of 2 factories, 1 starport, and only 1 of those barracks. So if he doesn't do something to slow Seed down, Seed's army will get too big to stop over the next several minutes. In fact, actually, he's decided he's done playing games, messing around with Banshees. It's time for the hammer throw right here. Send the whole army down the throat.
Yeah, I mean, Supernova has done nothing to really transition here. He's continuing with the same unit composition. We'll have to see if it works out for him. Seed going to come out here and try to engage this. Has an observer overhead, keeping it. I thought he did. Okay, I guess not at the moment. Got to keep those observers safe. Don't want those to get sniped down because the Banshees then can do whatever they want. Here comes Seed going to try to engage this army. Storm going down on the entire composition of Supernova, and I think Seed is just going to have too much, charging forward with Zealots, Immortals, and Stalkers. 103 to 72 supply, and there is the GG from Supernova. Seed is victorious in game 1 of this best of 7. This is a best of 7. That was a great game 1.
That was
amazing.
It was, I mean, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It was kind of reminiscent of those build stores they used to do. Remember on what was that? That small two-player map. He used to do.
Crossfire?
Yeah, Crossfire. He used to do all these like mass Thor builds against Protosses, and because it's so choked up,
Yeah.
the Thors would just kill everything. The main counter Protoss has to Thors is actually the charge lot. But if it's very choked up map, the Chargers can't get in there to do damage. Of course, the other counter Protoss has to Thors is Immortals, but with the range difference 7 to 5, again the chokes are going to favor the Thors. So on maps with a ton of chokes, it's a great strategy. Cloud Kingdom, there are a good number of chokes, and I think that's why Supernova went for that.
Now, I might be, you know, showing vulnerability here, but the energy on Thors, when was that taken out? Was that a Heart of the Swarm thing, or was that much longer?
They've gone back and forth.
Yeah, they keep.
I've actually lost track of when those changes were, because first they like had the cannons, then they had it so you like started with the you started with the ability and it cost no energy. So like Thors would just come out and they instantly kill Immortals.
Yeah.
And then they're like, no, that's not good. So we'll bring it back to energy, and I don't know. And
Well,
then
they don't
I
have
think
energy now,
Okay,
so
so they
the
got
High
rid of it
Templars
again.
aren't able to feedback them, which
right.
was pretty important in that altercation. But Seed barely holding on, going to take game number 1. Guys, tell your friends this is going on. Go on Reddit, go on Team Liquid, have a conversation, join the chat, see what's going on there. I know we have some Heart of the Swarm beta keys we're giving away, so stay tuned for that as well. But this is a best of 7 between 2 of the best players in Heart of the Swarm at the moment. State of the art. I don't want to say state of the art, but very innovative strategy is going to be occurring here. Again, these are the best guys in Heart of the Swarm at the moment. So stay tuned. Coming up next in this best of 7, it's going to be game 2 between Supernova and Seed. Don't go anywhere.